Uh, Also met him a number of years ago. I like him too. Now, who's this guy? Looks like a swole up Chavo Guerrero.
That's Jason.
Okay.
And of course, Just Incredible. We've had a lot of fun with him.
Right. It's just in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Man, some people are really creative with these signs, buddy.
Especially ECW fans, buddy.
It's just in your mouth. Oh.
By the way, what you just missed there with, coming up next, I think. Yeah. Most suicidal, homicidal, genocidal superstar of all time. Sabu is going to be his opponent. But what you just missed with Steve Carino is he was saying that the Insane Clown Posse was supposed to be his mystery team to face Raven and Tommy Dreamer. But he said on Friday, the manager of ICP called ECW and said when they found out that Raven and Dreamer were going to be their opponents, they said they weren't going to show up. And in reality, Violent J was on Mark Madden's radio show in Pittsburgh and said they were going to jump from WCW to ECW. But when they found out they were getting squashed in 2 minutes, they changed their mind. So Carino said he and Rhino are now going to face Raven and Dreamer later in the show, and really starts burying Insane Clown Posse. And then Joey Styles kept it up, saying that they were ready to jump without giving any notice and that Bill Bush should fire them from WCW. So they're going way out of their way to shit on them.
Was this before, this had to be before the neck break?
What do you mean?
Well,
before Mike Awesome threw him off a deal? Yeah, right. Mike Awesome's here, so he can't be throwing him off the deal there.
Got it. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And if they would have done the 2-minute squash job, he wouldn't have broken his neck.
Boy, when you think about it that way, it really puts a lot of things in perspective, doesn't it?
Doesn't it ever? Only thing you have to worry about here is going through a table. WCW, we're throwing your ass off a bus, which is one of the more horrific bumps I've ever seen. It's like slide off the bus, can't stop, clink. One thing I noticed, and I guess it's playing to the fans because the fans are so reactionary. Is that a right word? I got to learn my words before I get back on TV. But there's a lot of talking here. There's been a lot of talking in almost all the matches. And I guess it's because the fans react and that's what they want. But just about every match, somebody has come out and grabbed the microphone and had something to say. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, that's how you get over is you talk.
I know that's how you get over, but if everybody does it, then what the fuck? Again, I think that things can be overdone. Even something as simple as everybody in the ring talking. Although I do like doing your talking in the ring. And, I think we mentioned this, on one of our bonus podcasts. I don't know if you and I have done a couple of bonus podcasts. I don't know if I mentioned this last week or not. I may have mentioned it in the my spot. I probably did. Talking to the fans.
Yeah.
Looking in the camera.
That's right. You did. That's where it was.
Right. It's so important to do that instead of talking to each other. Just some of my feelings on the business that I think still apply today. Great time for the business, man. Great time for the wrestling business. Has been a renaissance. What are they doing? Are they threatening the ring announcer now? What the fuck?
Did it all start because you came back to wrestling, you think?
Me, with the Renaissance?
Here's what I'm saying.
No, the Renaissance
No. Did the wrestling Renaissance start before or after January 2017?
I don't know, because January 2017, I was still kind of removed from the business.
That's when we started our podcast, you dick fuck. You just said it a couple of minutes ago.
Okay.
So I'm trying to give you credit.
Yeah, but I know what you're trying to do, and I'm trying to deflect that credit.
Okay, well, let's give it to me then. How about that?
Okay.
Can I have it?
The wrestling renaissance started with AEW. I think it started with the advent of AEW and.
God damn, I'm so busting balls right now. Of course it did.
And with the being the elite on YouTube and the things the Bucks did, and of course it started with that. There you go. So stop busting my ass. I thought my video had stopped there for a moment, but that was just the lights going out, and Sabu is in the ring.
How about the moonsault bouncing off the ropes with the legs like that? That's cool, huh?
Yeah, he could do some great shit.
You know what? This is going to be a 14-minute match. I think it's time. Are you ready?
Oh, people are going to get pissed off if I rap during Sabu's match, aren't they?
They're going to get pissed off either way.
You just cannot please the masses, Conrad.
Would you rather do it now or during the Van Dam Balls Mahoney match?
No, let's do it now.
All right.
I don't know. You tell me which one would be the best one to do it. It doesn't matter to me.
Let's do it now.
Okay. I'll do whatever you say.
All right. So here's what we're going to do this week. I'm going to drop some hip hop knowledge on you. Are you ready?
Right.
Are you familiar with a rapper named Notorious B.I.G.?
Well, I'm familiar with that he's dead, and that he and his one-time friend Tupac.
Oh my God. You know things?
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, this was mainstream stuff. They had major problems with each other.
They had beef, Tony. They had beef.
Had beef, right.
And they used to be friends, and then they weren't. And Tupac was shot, and a lot of people were looking at, hey, maybe this could have been Notorious B.I.G. because they were on sort of competing record labels. Of course, Tupac was on Death Row Records, which is now, I believe, owned by a toy company. And P. Diddy represented the other. So you got Suge Knight on one side, P. Diddy on the other. Suge Knight goes out, starts talking trash about P. Diddy, and it becomes East Coast versus West Coast. And the violence really got turned up. Tupac is gunned down outside of a studio in New York City. And he decides to do one of the first ever hip hop diss tracks. Are you familiar with a diss track, Tony?
Yeah. Diss track is when you actually diss another person.
Yeah. So he has a whole song dedicated to shitting on one person, but he releases it for the whole world to hear, to embarrass them and sort of punk them. Mm-hmm. And so what we're going to do today is one of the very first diss tracks, Tupac Shakur's Hit 'Em Up. And I think I found an instrumental here. I hope this is right, but I'm going to need you to check your email. Mm-hmm. I've got you some lyrics over there. Mm-hmm. And whenever you think you're ready, just let me know, and we'll try to take a stab here and see if I've got the right instrumental.
Could I do a disclaimer here?
Yes.
Okay. This is something that normally I would not do. It's not that I don't like, it's just not my type of music, as you know.
Well, no, what do you mean you wouldn't normally do it? You've been doing it for months.
Well, I've been doing it because
I'm making you.
You're making me do it, right?
Yeah, I know you don't want to. I know if it was up to you, we would just sing Waylon Jennings songs and hold hands, do a little John Denver, Kumbaya, shit like that.
No. Take me home, country roads to the, okay.
And maybe, some Taylor Swift. I know how much you love.
I do that.
Really terrible music like that. So, if you've got your lyrics, you just let me know.
Don't sully the good goddamn name of Taylor Swift.
Jay-Z's really happy right now somewhere. Are you ready, Tony?
She's a wonderful young lady.
Do you have the lyrics, Tony?
Yes, I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony reads rap. Hit 'em up.
I ain't got no motherfucking friends. That's why I fuck your bitch, you fat motherfucker. West Side, bad boys killer, take money. You know who the realest is? Guy, we bring it to you. Take money, take money. First off, fuck your bitch and the click you claim. West Side, When we ride, come equipped with the game. You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife. We bust on bad boy guy. Fuck for life. Plus Puffy trying to see me weak hearts. I rip Bruce and Eric Bischoff, some mark-ass bitches. I say, I rip Bruce and Eric Bischoff, some mark-ass bitches. We keep on coming while we running for your jewels. Steady gunning, keep on busting at them fools. You know the rules. Little Caesar, you go ask your homie how I leave you, cutting up your young ass, leaving you in pieces. Now be deceased. Little Kim, don't fuck around with the real G's. Quit to snatch your ugly ass off the street. So fuck peace. I let them guys know it's on for life. So I let the West Side ride tonight. Bad boy murdered on wax and killed. Fuck with me and get your caps peeled. You know, see, grab your Glocks when you see Tupac. Call the cops when you see Tupac. Who shot me? Yo, punks didn't finish. Now you're about to feel the wrath of a menace. Marks, Bruce, Eric, I hit him up. Check this out. You motherfuckers know what time it is? Take money. I don't even know what's on this track. Take money. Y'all marks ain't even on my level. I'm going to let my little homies ride on you. Take money.
Thank you, Lord.
What?
Dude, just that may be your best performance.
You think so?
Yeah.
Surprising how Bruce Pritchard and Eric Bischoff's names appear in these lyrics. These guys were prophetic. These guys could see into the future.
What was the line with their name again?
Yeah. Bruce and Eric Bischoff, some mark-ass bitches.
What were the top two lines, first two?
I ain't got no motherfucking friends, and that's why I fuck your bitch, you fat motherfucker. That is classic songwriting. There is what that is.
What's the next bold line after that?
First off, fuck your bitch and the click you claim.
Lord. I don't know that we can keep going. I mean, this might be. This is the pinnacle. This is the peak. We ain't beating this.
Well, this is why they were so good at what they did, weren't they? I know they're legends now. They're both, dead, but I mean, this is some pretty good. I kind of like diss rap.
This is your favorite one?
I like that. I mean, I liked all the stuff, but
is Tupac your favorite rapper now?
I gotta listen to it in context to let you know. I gotta listen to it in context. I would say I like some R. Kelly stuff, but I don't want to be politically incorrect by saying that.
Yeah, I just cut the music off on that. Musical chairs is over. That's what we're doing. God damn, dude. When you said Bruce Pritchard and Eric Bischoff, some mark ass bitches, I don't know how that even got in there.
I don't either. I could just going through it. I guess I need to pre-read this shit. Because you just never know whose name's going to show up in the next one we do.
I think originally, before the remix version, it was Biggie Smalls and Junior Mafia, some mark ass bitches. And I guess somebody used a little creative license along the way.
Well, I guess on our next live show, I'm going to have to come out and say, that's why I fuck your bitch, you fat motherfucker. I ain't got no motherfucking friends.
Well, you do have less friends now. You know that.
I think I have a lot of friends.
No, but I'm just saying you have fewer because, well, you signed with AEW. Mm-hmm. And you have some friends over on the other side, and they're probably not too tickled that you did what you did. Mm. He's not listening. You can talk freely if you'd like.
Who's not listening? You talking to somebody? You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm just saying, Bruce Richard, he ain't listening.
Oh, yeah. I know.
He's working 21 and a half hours today.
Boy, is he ever.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you got time to do diss tracks.
That's right. Can you imagine what's going to happen to the Pritchard household on Christmas Day when he gets that phone call? He's got to work.
No, he's going to, I mean, they're moving to Connecticut.
Yeah. Not only does he have to get on the phone, he's got to go over to Vince's house and work Christmas Day.
But he likes that.
You would have to.
Are you saying you're not going to get calls on Christmas Day?
Yeah, I'm sure I will, but I don't think it's going to be like that. I hope I get calls on Christmas Day.
Well, I was going to say, I usually call and say Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and all that. Festivus for the rest of us.
You make sure you get them all in there, don't you?
Yeah, we're equal opportunity podcast here on the show.
Well, let's say Feliz Navidad to Dave Silva.
Nah.
There's just some things we still won't do.
So they're having a hell of a match here. This match gets actually 3.5 stars. And Meltzer would say they're trying to push Sabu in the commentary as a living legend. And I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, he is. Like, Sabu here had so much street cred in wrestling. You know, when did you first, never mind. I forget who I'm talking to.
What?
I was going to say, when did you first hear about Sabu? Because Sabu started to get a real name for himself on the independents. And what he would do was he would, you know, do these spectacular table spots. But early on, a lot of wrestlers didn't want to take those table bumps. So what he would do is he would just set up a table and he would moonsault his own body through the table without anybody on it.
Right.
And this is before they were really gimmicking tables. So he would just sling his body. And a lot of time, what we're talking about there is his knees. He would sling his knees into the over and over and over into the table until it finally would break. And just one moonsault after another, just climbing to the top, almost like a kid on a diving board, just over and over and over. But fans were just like, what the fuck is this? What's going on? But it was so different, so special and so unique that it caught on and he became a tape trading sensation. And it's just wild to think about, you know, that's where we were. And now here, just a handful of years later, really, he's on pay-per-view and much more mainstream and really a pioneer, really one of the first attractions of ECW. Probably Terry Funk and Sabu were two of the very earliest. And then of course, you know, Cactus Jack and Kevin Sullivan. But they tried to have something for everybody. So if you were an old school traditional wrestling fan and a quote unquote smart fan, you wanted to watch because Terry Funk was on there. But if you were an underground, you know, tape trading, you know, I want to see the hot spots and I want to see spectacular stuff. You like Sabu. And then if you wanted more traditional wrestling and you just wanted to see what you thought were some of the best wrestlers in the world, you would watch for Shane Douglas. So they put that 3-way together between Shane Douglas and Terry Funk and Sabu, and everybody all of a sudden was talking about ECW.
I'd heard, you know, and I've talked about this ad nauseum that I was not familiar with. This was an alternate universe for me, but I still had heard of Sabu.
Really?
Yeah. Because I think Sabu and all of the things that he were doing had the guys talking in the backstage area about him.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things that, wait till you see him. It's unlike anything you've ever seen. So yeah, I had heard of him. It was, I mean,
and
it's
that's,
still,
that's really like the testament, you know, when you can, if something's over with the boys, it's going to get over with the fans. Is that not a fair rule of thumb?
That is a fair rule of thumb.
And I know that sometimes people will hear that and say, oh, well, that's stupid because blah, blah, blah. But in reality, you know, like, not saying this to be funny, the wrestlers are the absolute biggest wrestling fans. They've legitimately dedicated their lives to it. Like, they're traveling to do it around the world hundreds of days a year and putting their body through all kinds of punishment. And yes, they're being paid for the right to do so, but in order to do it, man, you really, at that level, that long, that intense, that hurt, you got to love it.
Yeah, you do.
I'm just saying you love it more than the guy who just, you know, farts into his couch and watches it on Monday nights.
Mm-hmm. These guys really kicked it in a high gear in this one, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, look at the just ringside area.
Yeah.
Shattered tables, busted chairs. And Just Incredible picks up the win. They're really trying to, and I guess you sort of could tell when they're like pushing Sabu as a living legend that Just Incredible needs to go over. As a reminder though, what we've seen so far is Lance Storm gets a big win over Jerry Lynn, and now Just Incredible gets a big win over Sabu. So the Impact players, as they're going to be known, really getting a lot of big wins. Tajiri gets a big win. So obviously New Jack has a big high spot.
Tony's back with Conrad, not your classy podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh. Lowest rules cat back. This wasn't the initial plan. Tom's a good looking man. Klondike Bill, make a chant. Tommy, you come over here.